I think one of the coolest features of modern websites is the slideshow. In this particular case, the sliders are up on top. Everything is very clean. There's very little navigation information. Everything is clicked over here for navigation. So I'm going to share with you how to do this one step at a time in subsequent tutorials. Now, for those of you that are, again, new to the Avada theme, you could probably, because you're not sure where things are, and to read documentation, you might as well just hit yourself with a bologna sandwich. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go back into Edit Page. So again, here's the landscape. We don't need that. That was from the previous video. So I'm going to go back into Edit Page. Now you'll notice that on the Edit Page, and this is where it can get very confusing, that there's nothing here on the top that says slideshow. So it's like, where is that information coming from? Well, the new Avada Theme 5.0 makes it a little bit more simplistic to understand how to edit and change. We'll talk about this in just 1 second. But basically, out of the older version, if you come down here to the bottom, for sliders, it's using a Fusion slider, and it's using a slider called Home. So the Home slider is based on the home page. You can call your slides whatever you want, but here's what I want to share with you where it can get very confusing. So if I come over here to the left here, now, new in version 5, they moved the slider that used to be down here on the bottom left is now here underneath the Avada theme. So it's very important to understand the difference, the vocabulary here is important, between slides and sliders. Slides and sliders. The slider is what you attach to that particular page. So notice it says slider is home. Now I have different sliders in here. We're using the home slider for this particular page. So let's go back to that again. So I can hold down the control key, right click, and I'm going to say edit slides. And it's going to open up a new tab. This way I can keep the other page there. So these are the different slides that I have in place. Okay, these are the slides. Okay. So if I click here for Edit Home, because that is one of the slides that we used on the home page, you will see that it's getting its information, what's called the featured image. So let me break this down for you. Let's go back to this one more time. I'm just going to click here. Since we're on a new tab here, I'm going to click on just Fusion Slider. So again, vocabulary. Let me explain to you the difference between a slider and a slide. The slide, you can have 5, 6, 10, 12 slides, part of a slider. The slider is what gets attached to that particular page. So if I come down here to sliders, you will see that these are my different sliders. My sliders can be set up for different height, width, etc., etc. I can make a new slider from scratch. Again, this is stuff you want to do in your practice time. I'm not going to go into every single nuance. But here's what I want to share with you. Do you see this list of sliders? Or sliders, not slides. The slides are the individual slides. So just get a visual snapshot of that. About me, hire, home, location. That's the information you will see if I click down here. See, this list right here is exactly what this list right here is. Okay, so if I click right here, you're not going to see anything other than the properties that was set up for that particular slide, whether you want to have slider effects or handles or the height, the width, etc., etc. You can set that up yourself. Again, we'll go more into detail, but my objective of this particular series is to get you up and running in a reasonable amount of time without wasting your time. So if I was to go to the actual slide itself, the slides itself, this is sliders, I'm going to go back into slides. Okay, so for home slide, again, let's edit that for a second. And that's the slide that was on the home page. So how does the slider know to put that home slide? Is it because of its name? Of course not. I could have called this Ishkabibble monkey breath. No offense to people with monkey breath. So this is basically called the home slide, which is part of the home slider. This way it's very simple for me to keep track of things. And here's how it works. If you wanted to make this home slide part of the Fusion slider called Home, you simply click here. If you, in addition to that, wanted to put that into the About Me and the Hire Me and the On Location, then you would click here. So the way that this works, it gets its image from Featured Image. So if I click on Featured Image and I wanted to swap that out for something else, I can go into my media library and I can basically pick my different images. So let's say I wanted to put this as my featured image for the home slider, or this image here, etc., etc. I could do that just by selecting that particular slide. We're not going to do that, but I could do that. And if I wanted to upload a brand new slide, I would do that right from here. Okay, so where it's getting its information from is inside of the slider. So the slider is attached to the slide itself. Does that make sense? So I can align how the text, what kind of image it's going to be. I can make it a YouTube video. I can make it a Vimeo video, a self-hosted video. We'll talk more about that in a subsequent video series, but I just want to get you up and running. Okay, here's the text here. Here's the separator. If there's going to be a separator, I could pick a separator here. I could pick the font size, etc., etc. Now, what's really cool about this from a marketing standpoint is I can put HTML code into here as well. We'll talk more about that in a subsequent video. So I don't want to sell you short here. I just want to get you up and running in a reasonable amount of time. So that's how I can basically affect the slide itself. So if I come down here and I wanted to swap this out, and we're just going to do that just because we can. So we're going to change that to the About Me slider. So I'm going to come up here and update. Now, production technique. If in fact you are going to do this in the real world, perhaps you might want to call this version 1B, 1C, 1D, etc., etc. So it's a little bit of planning ahead will just save you a lot of brain damage. So I'm going to hit OK, update. I'm going to preview the changes. And you'll see that that front end slide is going to look very different than it did before, because I changed the group of slides inside that slider family. So this is using the About Me, which may work for a home page probably better than what was in there originally. But that's totally up to you. Now notice the page is going to be the same. The only thing that has changed is the slide itself, which comes out of the slider family. So I just want to get that vocabulary in your head to make it really simplistic. So let's move forward in our next video.